Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday. I feel like this weekend was too short. We had nothing but rain showers here in Louisiana, so it was like, you really couldn't even go out. You had to go out between the torrential rain, so it was kind of a bummer. So I'm feeling like, did I even have a weekend? Maybe a little bit, but the good news is there don't seem to be a new wave of bugs happening during this week, so I'm in good spirits. So anyway, hope that you'll have fun. If you see me in my workout outfit, it's because at 2:00 Eastern time, we're going to try our first event, which is like, I'm trying to see what other kinds of events we all want to do. So this is called Could Your Posture Be Impacting Your Health? And that is at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Dr. Kellen Scantleberry, who's a certified physical therapist, personal trainer, and CEO of Fit Club New York. And he's going to walk us through a little workout as well. And so if you want to come, put on your workout clothes and join us. Anyway, I got a little surprise for you at the end of this event. We're going to have a fun little giveaway that you have not had before. So I'm going to turn this over to Dana and Wendy, and then just leave me a little extra time at the end, Dana and Wendy. And you're on.
Good.
Welcome everyone to Positive Mornings, and I'm going to welcome back my partner in crime. I missed you last week, Dana. We muddled through, but we definitely missed you. So last week we talked about the hero's journey, and we really challenged one another to take a look at people in our lives as the protagonist in their own life and see if that shifts some of our judgments and expectations and opinions. And we're going to kind of carry that thread forward today when we talk about emotional contagion and what that means to you. And we're going to zoom in on kindness and some really cool stuff. So I'm going to hand it over to Dana and we'll get rolling.
All right. Welcome, ladies. It is so great to see everybody. I missed you all last week. Emotional contagion. So this topic I find so fascinating because we experience it every single day. So I'm sure all of you can think of a time when you were in a room and somebody walked into the room and the whole room lit up. And that is emotional contagion. I think we've also all been in a room where somebody comes in and they're in their funky mood. And now all of a sudden the whole vibe of the entire room plummets and everybody spirals down with that person. We have the ability to directly influence everybody around us. And it's done sometimes not even by saying a word. Sometimes it's just by our presence. Sometimes it's just by that vibe that we're putting out. And we put that out all the time. So one of the things that I read, and I think this is so fascinating, is if we elevate, for example, the mood of 3 people in our day, whether we smile at them, we do an act of kindness of some small sort, we simply just make them smile and elevate their day. If we do that for 3 people each day, and each of those 3 people elevate the mood of 3 other people, and each of those 9 people elevate the mood of 3 people, after 21 iterations, we have covered the entire globe. And that is just so fascinating to me. So it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much to simply smile at somebody or to do a very small act of kindness. It was kind of funny. Yesterday, after Wendy and I touched base and we decided this was going to be our conversation today, about a half hour later, I was driving through Maine. We were heading home and we hit a toll. And right when we got to the toll booth, the person said, "The person in front of you's got you covered." And it was just one of those small little acts of kindness. And it was wonderful because I was able to just turn to my husband, Dave, and say, "Remember I said just a couple minutes ago that we're talking about emotional contagion tomorrow? Didn't that just make you feel great?" He's like, "Yeah." And all of a sudden it just changed the mood in our car immediately by that small act of kindness. So it was just a beautiful example and it was just so perfectly timed. But we all have the ability to change people's days and people's lives with just small little acts. The Buddha has a quote that I love. He says that thousands of candles can be lighted by a single candle, and the life of that candle will not be changed or shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So when we're happy, when we smile, when we give, we're giving other people permission to do the same thing. There's a wonderful documentary, if you haven't heard about it, called The Kindness Diaries. And it's actually based off of a book. I don't remember the name of the author. And the premise of the documentary series is there's a young guy who's making his way around the world. And all he has is this little yellow motorcycle with like a little thing on the side for his baggage. And his goal is to make it around the world on the kindness of strangers. So he has no money. He just has his little bike. And he makes it around the entire world on the kindness of strangers. And so, of course, he's going around, he's asking people for money for gas, for food, for places to live. But what was so beautiful about the series was as he's traveling the world, he's talking and engaging with people that really have difficult life circumstances. I mean, beyond anything that we can imagine. And these people are so giving and so kind. And what these people didn't know is in every country that he went to, he chose one person who just blew him away with their kindness, and he gave back in such a way to change their life. So in one incident, there was a gentleman who was homeless, and he kind of took his turf, where he had everything all laid out, and he created a comfortable place for him to sleep with him for the night. He gave him socks because he was running out of socks. This homeless gentleman was so kind and so giving that in return, he actually gave him money for the down payment on an apartment. So just something, obviously this man didn't expect by his kindness, but when you see the series, you just see how this kindness trickle effect is just so beautiful. So I encourage you to check it out. So what we're going to talk about today is times that we've experienced kindness, times that we have given to others. And the beauty of kindness and the beauty of giving is that when we give to others, when we change other people's day, when we change even their moment, we're not only elevating them, we're also elevating ourselves. And there's a whole chemical cocktail in our brain that's changing when we're giving to other people. There's also that same beautiful chemical cocktail that happens when we smile, when we don't feel like smiling. So we all have been challenged recently, and there's plenty of days where we probably don't feel like smiling. But when we do, we change the chemical makeup in our brain. And with that, we actually do elevate our day, and it does make it easier for us to smile. So all of this comes full circle. So our first question for you today to think about is, think about an act of kindness that changed your day or perhaps even changed your life. And as always, put your thoughts in the chat room. And if you'd like to chime in on this, we'd love to hear your voice. Put me in the chat. An act of kindness that changed your day or perhaps even changed your life. And as always, we'd love to hear somebody or a couple of you chime in. So put me in the chat if you'd like to speak.
While you guys are thinking about this, I just put out my Mindful Monday newsletter, and it's a story about my grandmother, who was not your usual little Italian grandmother. She was a kleptomaniac and a gambler, and had a lifelong affair. I didn't put all this in Mindful Monday.
Oh, I like her more now. Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
She was a wild thing. She was definitely a wild thing. And she lived life on her terms. The remarkable thing about her, though, was that she saw every single person as the person that they wanted to be. Like, she would see you and she'd tell you you were a movie star or you were the most brilliant person she ever, and it was always spot on. She was always hitting that version of you that you held inside, and people loved her for it. So this woman who led this really tiny life by many circumstances, right? She didn't have any money. She didn't do anything extraordinary in her life. You know, I put in Mindful Monday, I don't know what the hell she would have put on a LinkedIn profile, right? And yet, when she died at 97 years old, the line was around the block for her wake. People came that we had never heard of. Somebody that she used to buy peppers from at a farm market 10 years prior came to her wake. The guy who played the guitar in the nursing home where my grandfather was came to her wake. That's that kind of kindness that changes people's lives that you don't even realize, you know. And so as you're searching, they can be really small moments that affected you, or that where you have affected other people's lives. I think we have some comments in the chats now.
When I was reading your Mindful Monday, Wendy, I want to meet your grandma. I tell you, I love her already.
She was incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, we have tons in the chat, and we have a me. Hang on, I just lost the chat here.
Oh, we have a me from Tina.
Tina.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I didn't see any me's, so I'm going to share this because it was so impactful. I have a dear, dear friend. Her name is Tina, and she lives in Texas, and I'm in North Carolina, and we've been friends since, 25, 30 years. And so I am in, desperate states after Nick died, and pouring my heart out to her, and just, she's, it's just terrible. And she calls me back later that day, and she said, okay, my flight gets in at 4:00. And I said, on Thursday, because the services were going to be the next Friday. And she said, no, today. Can you have somebody pick me up? And she just showed up in every single way that she could. She just showed up and changed my life, changed the way I work with other people, changed everything. So just that act of saying, and she was just here. She would just, I was always up early in the morning outside saying my prayers. She would say, can I bring you coffee? Yes. And she'd just sit by me, If I wanted to talk, she talked. If I didn't want to talk, she didn't. Everything I had to do to make the arrangements, she was right in the middle of. She pulled pictures for his memorial service. We laughed, we cried. She just showed up. It was terrific. So that's mine.
Boy, bringing tears to my eyes. That's beautiful.
And I'm seeing so much of that in the chat. People who showed up for you when you lost someone that you loved. And often it's just being there, right? Just that presence that makes such a difference.
I think that's such an important thing for us to remember too. I think so often people don't know what to say when something challenging happens in somebody's life. And it really is just the being there, right? Just being there. I have tears in my eyes. I'm having a hard time reading the chat. Thank you for sharing.
Cindy, somebody sent $100 to your PayPal account last year because they knew you needed help. How incredible. These are so moving. And I want to challenge you all. I know we're talking about kindness and we're talking about this paying it forward. I want to challenge you all to think about the moments that aren't even necessarily that moving, because those tiny moments, passing the smile along, are really what we're talking about here too, that impact people's lives. And while you're thinking about that, I'll tell you oh wait, we have another me, Beth.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Beth.
So, I've talked before about, I started volunteering with the food bank back when COVID kind of first hit, and I heard about it on the news. So I signed up, and, I just love it. It's so rewarding. And I really enjoy the most going out to the mobile sites where we, you know, the cars pull up, they pop their trunk, we put the food in. And a lot of volunteers just kind of do that. It's very, you know, very rote, and they just let the people move along. But, you know, a lot of times people have their windows down, or they put their windows down, or there's children in the back seat, and I get the biggest kick out of like saying good morning, hello, or I, you know, lean my head in and say hello to the children. So I don't think I shared this story because I missed a couple of weeks of this, unfortunately, but about 2 weeks ago, a very, very end of our 2.5 hour shift, we were just about out of food. And an old, you know, jalopy of a pickup truck pulled up, and the window was down. Definitely wasn't a power window kind of vehicle. So the window was down, and there was a gentleman in there with a long ponytail, and, you know, kind of looked like he should have like a guitar strapped on his back, you know, with, you know, he just was a really cool looking guy, but you could tell he had definitely fallen on hard times. So while everybody was loading the food into the back of his pickup, I went to the window and just said, good morning, how are you today? And now, of course, we're all wearing masks, right? Well, at that moment, I mean, I'm in Florida, so it was probably 95 plus degrees, because it was about 12 o'clock at this point. I had taken my mask down, and I was on the passenger side, obviously. So I'm looking across, and I said, how are you today? And he kind of looked surprised. And he said, I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you so much for asking. And so I went and helped. I put a couple things in the back, and I, you know, as I walked back to her, I said, have a great day. And he said, hey, can I just say something to you? And I walked over a little bit closer, and he said, I can't tell you how much that smile meant to me today. Mm-hmm. He said, that just really did it for me. He goes, I really appreciate that you took your mask down and smiled at me. He said, I'm going to hold that with me. And he put his hand up to his heart. And I thought, you know, it comes very naturally to me. I smile at everybody, but I do notice with the masks on, even when I was food shopping yesterday, you know, you're kind of saying, excuse me, as you walk past somebody, or trying to keep your distance. You can never see the person's face. And, you know, I live by that. Like, I love people and kibitzing and smiling and all of that. So in all of this, I'm missing that brief moment with this one person. I think about that guy every day. Now I think about, and I pray for him every single day, because, you know, you just don't know, that one smile is going to make somebody's day. Really, really important. So
thank you for sharing that, Beth. You know, my daughter said to me the other day, she was like, you know, Mom, now in COVID, you really have to smile with your eyes.
Yep.
And it's true. A little grin doesn't do. When you're wearing a mask, you have to pull it all the way up and smile with your eyes in order for people to see it.
It's funny that you say that, Wendy. I actually wrote my newsletter that goes out tomorrow morning, and the title of it is Kind Eyes. Yeah. And I'm talking about that, how I'm noticing people's eyes now, right? And you can tell when people are smiling. You know, I miss seeing the smile, absolutely, but you can tell. And I'm finding I'm noticing people's eyes so much more. You know, Beth, I think you also touched on, too, something that we've talked about in Positive Mornings, and that is the importance of listening, too, with kind eyes, right? And I think all too often, you know, we say, hey, how you doing? And we pass and we don't listen. But I think you touched that gentleman because you listened, right? Like, you not only asked the question, but you were there. You were fully 100% present and there. And that, I think, is what is missing so much. And that, I think, is what touches people so deeply. So pausing just enough that not only do we smile at somebody, but we're really so beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
We have a me from Christine.
Hi. So this just happened a few days ago. It's a little fresh for me, so forgive me if I start to tear up, because I'm already tearing up from all you guys, all your posts. My daughter and I went down to the Jersey Shore just for like a day and a half, really. Went down Thursday, got a little bit of beach time, but Friday was supposed to be like the beach day, and the weather looked fine, and well, it rained all day, pretty much. So we spent the day shopping. We actually drove down in the rain the day before, shopped in the rain a little bit, then it cleared up, but the day we thought we were going to spend on the beach rained the whole day. So she knew I was upset. I was really trying to hide it. I would, like, when I went in the bathroom, I was like crying because all I wanted to do was just get a couple days at the beach with her in the sunshine, just to get away from our routine. So it had cleared up and we were eating dinner at a little boardwalk grill. And I had said, I'm going to go to the restroom, and it was time, for the check. And I said, I'm just going to leave this here. I'll be back by the time she comes back, to sign for it or whatever. So I go to the restroom, I come back, the server hadn't come back yet. She comes back, she puts the check down, whatever. And my daughter opens it and she takes what I think is my debit card out. She grabs it and she puts it in. You know how they have those little iPhone, like the little thingies in the back? So she sticks the debit card back into her phone. And I go, what are you doing? Because I think it's my card. And she said, it's my card. She said, I'm paying for dinner. And this is my daughter who's 19. Okay. So college student, no money, So I was like, sweetie, you didn't have to do that. She said, Mom, she said, you've paid for everything since we got here. And I know that this just didn't go the way you wanted. She said, so it's my treat. And I was like, oh my God, it was just so sweet. And I said, well, of course it went the way I wanted, because we've gotten to spend so much time together. And when you think it's going to be something in your head and then it turns out to be something completely different, sometimes what it turns out to be is even better than what you thought it was going to be. Because, you spend a lot of time holed up in a Jersey Shore motel room and you're on your little balcony too, and you get to chat quite a bit. So it was just really sweet. I came home, I told my older daughter what she did. I told my husband, I'm like, it just was a little thing, but it just blew me away because she was just so thoughtful and just knew how much it meant to me that I just wanted to get to the beach in the sun. So
Beautiful.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Christine. We have a me from Nina.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there you are.
Hi, sorry about that. I love this so much. I'm so grateful that you're doing this. Thank you for including me. I lost both of my parents by the time I was in my early 30s. And while my mom was dying, I was applying to grad school. And I went to Columbia. It was a really intense program, really exclusive. And they were very kind to me. They kept allowing me to move my date for my entrance exam. But in the end, they waitlisted me. And my mom had died. She died before I completed my application. And I went to a summer thing and I ran into them. I'm getting chills. I ran into the mother of a friend who hardly knew me. And the first thing she said to me in a very mothering tone, what's going on with Columbia? And I said, well, I've been waitlisted. She said, well, call them up. I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, I said, I can't just call, it's Columbia University. I can't, what do you mean? She said, just call them up on Monday and you tell them you want to go to school there and how do you get off the wait list and you're not fooling around and you want to be there in the fall. And I hadn't been mothered in so long. My mom had been sick for so long and then she died. And so I called Columbia up on Monday and I said to this very notorious, tough director of admissions in a very kind way, what's happening? And the end of the story is that they allowed me to write another essay and then they accepted me for the fall, that next fall season. And I think that what was also so incredibly powerful about that experience for me was the unexpected nature of it. That is the greatest gift of kindness that's coming, I think, to us and one's guard is completely down in that moment because you're not expecting that. And that's why it went straight to my heart. And by the way, I haven't really ever seen that woman again. It was just a moment. She was just an angel in that moment to help me through. And I think about that and I think about passing that forward in small ways every day as much as I can, because it's the only reason why we're really all here. So thank you for letting me tell you that story. I appreciate it.
Gave me chills, Nina. Thank you. We have a me from Bridget.
Morning, everyone. I put this in the chat, but it's so important to me, and I'm not going to get through it without crying, that I wanted to speak to it. 3 years ago, I lost my job, and I needed to move from St. Louis to somewhere, and I didn't know where at the time, and I put my house up at the market, and at that time, I was not feeling very good about myself and not feeling that I deserved anybody to help me. But I reached out to an older couple in my church, and almost every single day, and I am not exaggerating when I say that, for about 2.5 months. They showed up at my house. They helped me to pack. They helped me to repair things in the house as I tried to sell it from me before the offer came, and then after, when there were repairs that the new buyer wanted. And on the day that the moving truck came, my friend Sue was there. We were directing the moving truck. The moving truck was packed, and we still had a ton of shit that didn't fit in the moving truck. And she and I sat there on the floor going, what are we going to do? And so then somehow we managed to get a lot of that stuff into their already crowded garage. And they housed me overnight. They fed me dinner. They were like my parents. They just took care of me at a time when I didn't feel like I deserved it. And they just showed me such kindness. And last year they were traveling through, I live in Southern Connecticut. They were traveling through this part of the country, and they stopped by to visit me, and I greeted them at the door, and I jokingly said, now I only have a few tasks for you. And they were like, and I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. And they just busted out laughing. They're just such special human beings, and kindness is their modality. So thank you for letting me share that.
So beautiful.
I love that story.
I don't know if when people exhibit the kindness that they do, I don't know that they always know the impact that they have, right? So many of you are sharing stories that happened years ago, right? And sometimes that act, it has such a beautiful power and is forever remembered. And I have no doubt that every single one of us has impacted somebody else in that way. We may not even know it.
We have a me from Robin Vogel.
I just want to say briefly, because I just remembered that yesterday I was on the beach here where I am in West Dennis and in Massachusetts. And I said hi to this older man who was walking past me. And he just came over to me, like said hello. And then he came over and he started telling me all these things like, you're always surrounded, by angels and God, and all you have to do is like send a prayer out. But even if you don't do that, you're always held. And he said this like whole like spiritual truth. And then he said, God bless you. And he walked away. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
It was really unbelievable. But anyway, the truth is that I really needed to hear that I'm always held no matter what yesterday. So that's the moral of that story. It's incredible.
Awesome.
Thank you, Robin.
Beautiful, Robin. And Andrea.
So this is kind of like a backwards one. We're talking about other people do for us, and this is not like an ego thing, but I'm always told by everyone, you're so nice. How do you do that? I have a cousin who lives alone. It's my husband's cousin. My friends all laugh at me that I call my husband's family my family. We're going to be married 40 years this coming weekend. It's my family, So she has schizophrenia, but when you meet her, she's highly intelligent and tells me what she read, but she doesn't have cable, she doesn't have anything. And my mother-in-law passed away a year and a half ago, and she always was good to her because this cousin's daughter died, no whole stories. And every time I like say to my aunt or I say to someone else in the family, call Judy for 10 minutes. It would be nice. They go, oh, do I have to? And I always get amazed how simple, as someone else just said, I was born nice. Like I like the word nice even better than kind, and I don't understand why everyone just can't do those little random acts. When I told the story years ago, but my daughter, who's now 28 years old, when she was born, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and 8 weeks later, my mother died. And I'd be walking around Chappaqua and people would say, how are you? And I would say, I'm really good. I mean, I was crying inside, and they go, I don't understand. I said, you know what? Life could suck, but the baby saved my life. I'm going to be okay. And I'm here. And, my mother died tragically, and life goes on. And people just don't know how you know, and you would never know that the way I break down to you, Wendy, all the time, you know, about all my mishigas. But at the end of the day, it's okay to be nice.
Okay to be nice. Thank you, Andrea. So true. So we have 2 more questions for you, but I think we're only going to have time for one. Dana, which do you think we should lob out?
Let's see here. I'm going to lob out, what acts of kindness have you either experienced or witnessed during this time of COVID? And obviously there have been so many, but what stands out to you during this time? I think one thing that's, it's interesting. I think one collective benefit, if you will, or good thing that's coming out of COVID is I personally think that there is more connection. I do see those kind eyes more. I do see people be a little more patient, a little more kind, a little more gracious towards people, even if it's something simple like a greeting and opening a door for somebody. Really small little things, but I do feel like I'm picking up on that more now, collectively with COVID. Like we're all watching out for each other. And there is that sense, and it's subtle, but it's felt.
Katie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning, Katie.
Okay, I never know. What really struck me is, so I live in Westchester, New York, and that was like 2 towns over from where everything blew up in New Rochelle. And I just was blown away by how quickly members of the community got together to start sewing masks. And I'm a beginner sewer, so I didn't volunteer to sew the masks, but I volunteered to drive. And it just how quickly everyone jumped on board with mask production. You know, kids were cutting and squares and elastic, and people were picking up the stuff and sewing away. It was very, very inspiring. It's like you couldn't not participate.
Beautiful.
A lot of power in community, right? This emotional contagion that we're talking about today is that, right? The 2 people get together, 3 people get together, the energy of that spreads. Kimberly has something to share. Kimberly, where are you?
Kimberly, can you unmute your mic?
Okay, start over. Good morning.
There we go.
A good friend here is an exercise instructor, and she's been hosting our classes on Zoom since we couldn't go to the gym. But her husband is a doctor here, and 2 weeks ago, he was ill. And they took him to the hospital finally after about a week or so. And he tested negative for COVID 4 times. And he was getting very critical, and probably the most critical in that hospital. And I live in a small town outside of San Antonio, Texas. So we were kind of in the hot spot now. But they finally did some kind of procedure and determined that he did have COVID. So they were looking for plasma donations. And you have to have someone volunteer to do that. So we sent out emails on Facebook and anywhere we could, just asking for people in the community that had either tested positive for antibodies or had recovered from COVID. And normally the blood center, I think, received 28 donations a day. After we put that out, she said the donations went from 480 donors to 615 in one day, and that now they can only handle 66 per day. So they actually have enough plasma to meet all the needs that we have, because most of our hospitals are at max capacity right now. So, I mean, just that one event in just a few days overflowed. You can't even donate now I went on yesterday till August the 9th. That's how full they are. So that was amazing. And within 24 hours with prayer, he was actually off a ventilator and talking. So it was really amazing. But just the fact that it reached so many different cities because it just went out everywhere. So that was a big, and I think the word just got out. So that was very exciting.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, Lesley, I'm seeing your comment about, I love hearing about what one person can do. I've always believed in that. Absolutely.
And I don't know where the chat started about the COVID-19, like the freshman 15. We can all be kind to one another when we come out of our holes with our carrying our COVID-19. There's an act of kindness.
We also need to be kind to ourselves.
That's right. Zoom fitness classes for free. Yeah, it's amazing the impact that we can make on people's lives just by a tiny, tiny little action.
I'm loving reading what everybody has in the chat, trying to catch up.
Susan says she has a friend who made protective acrylic boxes that fit over COVID patients' heads during intubation when doctors or nurses are at high risk of contagion. Wow. Amazing, the things that people can do.
Also reading Renee's too, that there's a group of people in the community calling the elderly to ensure that they're okay and have what they need.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
So the point of all of this, obviously, is one person really can make a difference. You make a difference in people's lives, and that is contagious. It ripples like a pebble in the ocean, right? And can really change an entire community. One smile, one kind act, one thoughtful moment can make a tremendous impact, not just for you, right? Because it does. Being kind to some, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling hopeless or overwhelmed, perform one tiny act of service. It will change your entire energy, right? So not only for you and not just for the person that you're directly impacting, but the people that that person impacts, right? That's what we're talking about here today. And so the tool that we have for you is a little a riff on pay it forward. Of course we want you to pay it forward. That's what this is all about, right? Take what you're given and pay it forward. But today's tool is pay it backward. A couple of you mentioned we don't often let the people know who impact us. We don't let them know because the moment is gone. It's over so quickly. It's such a small thing. You know, if somebody impacted your life 10 years ago and you know where they are, shoot them a Facebook message, write a handwritten note, pick up the phone, say, you know, we were having a conversation today in a group that I'm in, and your name came up. Those little notes mean so much. They probably don't remember the thing that they did for you. Pay it backward. You can also pay it backward in the moment that you're in, right? The person who says, hey, you just made my day by giving me that smile. You can right there say, wow, thanks for saying that. Now you've made mine. Okay. We think about pay it forward all the time. For this week, let's practice paying it backward. And maybe we can make some time. I really would love for this to be a challenge. Maybe we'll make some time in the intro of next week. I'm going to make a note of it right now so I don't forget to ask you. When we talk about last week's topic, I'm going to ask you, who reached out to someone and paid it backward? And we'll start next week's Positive Mornings with a couple of those stories to get us rolling. Okay, so as always, we're going to do a little meditation and make sure that we have plenty of time for our little surprise that Lesley has for all of you today. So I'd like you to get really comfy in your seats. Oh, you just need 5 minutes. All right, well, I'll take a little bit longer. I might have snapped us off a little sooner than we needed to be, but we'll have a nice relaxing meditation this morning.
Perfect.
Okay, so everybody get real comfy in your seats. Close your eyes. And just begin by directing your attention to your breath. Nice and easily. There's nothing that you have to do, nowhere that you need to be, no particular way that you need to breathe. Simply notice your breath as it comes in and out of your body. And with the noticing, you might begin to allow your body to lean into that breath. Just gently notice how far into your body you draw the air. Does it land in your throat, at the top of your lungs, down into the bottom of your lungs, or deep into your belly? Just notice. And if you'd like, try to draw the breath a little deeper on your next inhale. Notice what it feels like when that air fills your body, expanding, straightening, nourishing. And then if you'd like, as you exhale, allow all of the thoughts and worries of the day release on the inhale, on the exhale. Watch them as they sort of fly out into the atmosphere on your breath and dissipate and just go away. Each full breath filling you, and each exhale releasing the stress, the strain in your muscles, in your body, relaxing you more each time you breathe. And while your attention is on your breath, I'd like you to fill your next breath with light, any colored light. Pick a color that makes you feel alive and warm and happy. And as you inhale and exhale, watch that light fill your body and then fill the space around you. And then fill your body and fill the space around you. Notice how that simple, natural process makes you feel more relaxed, more comfortable, more present, more alive with each breath that you take. Now I'd like you to imagine a light, a white light, the brightest light you've ever seen, hovering about 6 inches above your head. Know that inside of this light is the power of absolutely everything outside of you and inside of you. The power of the universe, the power of all of the souls that lived before and that will live after you. The love of all of the people who have passed, who stay with you always. are all combined in this bright, gleaming, warm, white light right above your head. And as you breathe, I want you to see that light come down through the crown of your head. Breathe it down into your body and let it intermingle with your light, with that warm glow that's already inside of you. With each breath, bring that light in so that it lights every cell of your body, like the million sparks that glitter across the ocean surface when the sun hits it. See how the cells in your body light up with this power, with this love that is always there and that is always there for you. You are always held by this light, by this power. It is part of you and you're part of it. Breathe it deeply into your body. And as you relax into it, see yourself move around. Imagine that you're going about your day, whatever might be coming later in the day for you. And you'll see that this attachment, that this light coming down through you doesn't break, doesn't go away. It stays with you as you move throughout your day, as you get in and out of your car, in and out of the shower, move through rooms, in and out of doors. That light is always moving through you. It is always a part of you. It is always intermingled with your light, holding you, giving you love and power and peace. And as you bring your attention back to your breath, I want you to take that image with you back into your day, into your week, into your life. And on the count of 5, we'll open up our eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, before I turn this over to Lesley, we talked a lot about energy today and emotion and how contagious it is. This little experience that we just had together is about that. It's about tapping in to the energy that we share that's always there for us. It's always there for you. And we talked about this a couple of maybe months ago. We've been here at Positive Mornings for so long. We gave a tool called the 7 layers of energy, 7 levels of energy. And Renee, I'm looking at your name in the chat, Renee. Marissa has a printout of that, and maybe we can attach that to this week's recording also, because I think it can be useful in taking this and moving forward. Okay, and now to Lesley.
That was great. Thank you, guys. I love thinking about positive things we can do for each other. So along that line, I have a little surprise for all of you. Marissa, can I show my screen? I want to pull up the BIA Codex products and show them. I can't think of any other way to do it.
Yeah, you should be able to.
I should be able to screen share. So where is my share screen? Here we go. So this is what we're giving away. Can you guys all see that? Here, this is Codex. Codex is our sponsor. We actually have a sponsor at CoveyClub, which we're so excited about. They came to Savannah with us, and Barb Paldus is the is the brains behind all of this, and she is a scientist. She comes to beauty from science. Everything is super sustainable. Even the packaging, which feels like plastic, is not. It's made out of sugar cane and is disposable and degradable. And she's so amazing at what she does. She's created a preservative that she's trying to bring to the rest of the beauty companies who have settled for a preservative that's not as clean as what she's discovered. And she's just an all-around amazing person. Anyway, so when she came, she came to us at Savannah and spoke about this. And after she was done, I was like, oh my God, you have to play with Covey because this is such a great product. The products are fabulous. We're giving away 5 at the next 4 of our positive mornings. And it's a $74 value. And it's this little travel package, which has, I think it has a cleanser in it. Here's the things. And these are all fantastic. Oh, where's the little things that are in here? But it's really fabulous stuff. You will love it. And it's just a whole little package. I'm thinking it looks like it has, cleanse, protect, and hydrate. And it's not saying what the items are in there, but I have them.
It says at the
Can
bottom.
you see? Does it say at the bottom? Because these are not it.
Oh,
There's a
maybe
little
not.
gel. I think these are the things that are in there, but I don't see the rose wash, so it doesn't make sense. But you'll see, it's not very clear. I gotta
Here you
tell
go. It says exfoliating wash, day cream, and if you scooch down a little bit, look like something else.
Can you see it? Okay, down here. Oh, is
Here you
it
go.
that?
Hey, Joan.
Okay, skin superfood. This is the thing that's amazing. I use this all the time. And the wash is fantastic as well. But the skin superfood is just amazing. When you put it on, you know how you come home every day and you have to wash your face because whatever you have on it feels yucky? This just feels normal. So anyway, I think you'll really enjoy it. Marissa will put in the chat area, we did a great podcast with Barb where she described her whole reinvention. She literally comes out of the science area, and she was also she did something for the Ebola protocol with helping them create vaccines faster. It's just like it's a completely crazy way to come to beauty. Anyway, so we're gonna give away 5 of these today and 5 for the next 4 events. So go ahead, Marissa, you take the screen. We have our fun little spinner for those of you who know this. Everybody gets a kick out of this. All your emails are in here. And
it's awesome.
It's so busy. Look at this. This is great. And Marissa will keep track and she will connect you. Yeah, everybody loves this spinner. For me, it reminds me of being at the Jersey Shore when I was a little kid. We used to get down there. Okay, go Marissa, you spin. Doesn't look like it's spinning fast. Liz O'Neill. Okay, cool. Liz, awesome.
Woohoo, Liz.
Great. And let me know if you know what you think, and if you like it, talk about it on social media if you like it. That's just always helpful. Danielle, all right.
Yay.
Awesome,
All right, Danielle. I think it has so many names in it. It's moving slowly. Usually it moves really fast. Cindy, oh my goodness. Okay, they're going to send it to you across the ocean.
Awesome.
That's great. Sheila. Awesome.
I've never wanted to win anything.
Well, there you go. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. I'm so sick of us not winning anything and saying we don't want.
That's so I'm ridiculously excited.
Of course you are. Katie Brogan. Kate. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys. I hope that was fun. Everybody likes our silly wheel. And it is fun. And I'm going to make you all a challenge when we're done with all this to never say again, oh, don't bring me a birthday gift. You can give them this is my whole point is, just because you're older doesn't mean you can't have any fun, right? So what you can say is instead of saying no gifts, say only gifts under $20 and let them have fun and you have fun as well. So thank you guys. Thanks everybody.
Thanks,
Marissa will
Lesley.
be in touch
For sharing
to
all of
listeners.
your beautiful stories today.
Thank
So
you.
many-
Those were amazing. Thank you. And I can't wait to see what everybody has to share when they
Liz,
come back.
Lesley, you forgot to give everyone your calendar for this week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm dopey today. So yes, thank you. We have a bunch of great things upcoming. We have our Dr. Kellyan today. I hope you guys will come join us. He's totally adorable. He works out because it's COVID time. He works out in his baby's nursery. I told him, I said, anybody who's broadcasting from your baby's nursery is going to have the love of this crowd. He's down on the floor with the crib in the back doing the training. He trained me once to show me what he was doing. And then we have new advertising techniques for a post-COVID world, what neuroscience tells us, and that's July 22nd, Wednesday at 2 p.m. And these are advisory experts at 8 Grape. They're advertising and branding expert Brooke Iverson, graphic designer Laura Kiselawaka, and professional photographer Julian McRoberts. You guys may know Julian. We've had her on she's an old friend. She's reinvented herself 1,000 times. And in fact, she's on her way to reinventing herself again, leaving photography, and she's moving to Portugal. So anyway, she's just a really interesting person who's done so many things.
When is that?
That is Wednesday, July 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. And she's always up to something. She's one of those people who doesn't let the earth stand behind her at all. Redesigning Your Life as Your Own Boss, which is Friday, July 31st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is my friend, some of you guys have been helping him out, Vaughn Emsley, who is the co-founder of Flipside, which is a new advertising agency, which is trying to bring sense to the marketing world out there about women over 40. He is determined to teach them that we have value and that they should market to us. And he's a reinventor himself. He was a big wig at one of the top ad agencies. And he just has some really interesting things to say about where all the sexism came from. He believes a lot of the sexism in the corporate world and our world came from advertising in the 40s and 50s. So I think that's really, really very interesting. And go ahead.
When was that? I'm sorry, July 31st?
That is Friday, July 31st at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you, sorry.
Sure, no, don't be sorry. And then all of this, if you go to CoveyClub.com and hit attend up in the top nav bar, you'll get to all events, and you just hit events and it'll show you all the events. Also, make sure you're signed up for the letter from Lesley, which is the subscribe button up in the left-hand corner of the CoveyClub.com. And we're put this out every Friday so you know what's coming, because we're constantly adding. And for fall, I have an incredible lineup of stuff. People are now approaching me because they know we do this. Experts from all over the world are coming and wanting to talk to Covey Club. So anyway, we want to just give our 2 fabulous reinvention experts, Dana and Wendy, a hand. Thank you, guys. Have a good week. And thank you for reminding me to go through my All right, guys.
Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much.
Have a good week.
Bye all. See you next Monday.
See you.